What are American heritage grapes? The simple answer is a grape variety with a significant portion of American DNA in their genome. You might look at the term and think, well, that seems like a flouncy word. Why not just say native grapes or indigenous grapes? The truth is that American heritage grapes also have some amount of European DNA. The first American heritage grapes were hybrids created accidentally. There's 4 really important ones to remember, presented here in chronological order of their first written record. Alexander, aka Cape, in 1683. Catawba, 1819. Norton, 1830. And Concord, 1849. Let's take a look at the first one, Alexander, for an example of how this worked. In 1683, the gardener of the Penn family, founders of Pennsylvania, attempted to plant a European vineyard at their estate. It lived a short and painful existence before succumbing to phylloxera, but in that time it also managed to pollinate one of the locals, the American Fox Grape, Vitis labrusca. A season or 2 later, that same gardener found a new unusual grape growing nearby, much bigger and juicier than normal wild grapes. So he began cultivating this new discovery. At the time, they called these volunteer vines. This story played out over and over in early America, producing many new varieties that were juicier than wild grapes. Hybrids with fox grape parentage are often described as smelling foxy. This describes a distinct candied or strawberry-like smell. Many people will recognize it from the Concord grape, and subsequently from all of the purple artificial grape-flavored candy that imitates Concord. But not all American grapes have it. For example, Norton, which has the summer grape Vitis aestivalis as a parent, has none. Later in the 19th century, French botanists began purposefully cross-pollinating American and French grapes. They were trying to create phylloxera-resistant grapes with a classic French character. But hybrid grapes have proven to have utility beyond phylloxera. In the 20th century, American institutions like Cornell and the University of Minnesota began tailoring varieties to be highly resistant to factors like cold, drought, altitude, or rot. This has opened up the possibility for quality winemaking in places that would have been way out of the picture for vulnerable European grapes. As you can see, the traditional native grapes moniker doesn't quite describe what's going on here, necessitating the term American heritage grapes. Now, if this is all shocking new information for you, don't be worried. It would be for plenty of sommeliers as well. All of these grapes taken together account for only about 2% of wine production in the world. But whether we're looking back into the past to understand the history of American wine culture, or forward into the future to prepare for a world further affected by climate change, American heritage grapes should be invisible no more.